Hello friends. I picked up some old novels at a charity shop recently, and I've been inspired by all the altered books that I've seen online or the junk journals, and I thought it would be a really cute way to create a mini book, because often I find the problem with making a mini book is the binding. And of course, when you've got a good sturdy book, you've already got the binding sorted. So I've taken my novel, and what I've done is I've removed lots of pages. Let me just give you an idea, and I'll show you how I did that. But because, I mean, they were the same size, but because they are so many pages inside, about 300, I needed to remove lots of them so that I could fit my pages on. And what I'll do is we'll go through the actual pages in here, but I just thought I'd show you what I did, which I'd done off camera. So I've taken my book, and this book is about 50 years old, I think, but it was in a charity shop, so it's getting a second life. And I don't know if you can see here, it's actually a book that's got stitching. So rather than just being the pages being glued in, it's actually stitched in. And I want to keep those pages because those are the chaps that will keep everything together. But this signature is quite small, but so if I clip those, let me just grab a paper clip. So I'll keep those pages. Excuse me. I'll keep those pages. Where are we? And then what I'll do is rip out some of the other pages. So I want to get rid of quite a lot. I've kept the front pages, and obviously we'll need to keep the inner pages. But I use a ruler, so I've got a thinner edge here. And excuse me, if you just want to rip the pages out, you can do them depending on the size of your book and the actual pages themselves. You might be able to rip them a couple at a time, or just one at a time. So for each pocket that I create, I've got 3 there. What I'm going to do is rip out maybe 4 or 5 pages the other side of it. Let's do 2. That's 4. So you kind of want to make it neat, but equally I kind of like the fact that it was a book. So here I am going to maybe leave a couple of pages where what I had in my mind is, let me show you what I'm doing, is I'm going to leave a slightly bigger element, so maybe like a finger width. And I've got some of the pattern paper. Now I should say our kits haven't arrived as yet, and I needed to work ahead because mini books do take a long time. So Kimberly has kindly shared the digital versions with us so that we could print them off. So this one's single-sided, but I can't wait to get mine because they're so pretty, the kits, so it'll be amazing. So what I'm going to do here, because it's single-sided, I'm going to attach the 2 pages to that, and that will act like give me place, an anchor for those pages, like so. So let me just show you that one. So again, you know, a finger width, it doesn't really matter because you'll be covering those over. But on my ruler, I kind of, just to be even, I've just used the lines on my ruler just to help me. And I'm going to use 2 pages to just give it a little bit of strength. So when I glue my pages around there, it'll be nice and strong. And again, when I actually have a page I'm going to add, I'm going to rip out 4 or 5 pages. what you can see there, hopefully, is we're going to be thinning this book down. So I'm going to keep going with this. And there's my next signature there, the centre. So I'll just pin those. And you could be, I was a bit random with mine, but you could calculate how many signatures there are, how many pages you want. I just literally went through mine, ripped out a whole bunch of pages, kind of a bit random. So you can see, here's the pages I discarded. You know, there's quite a wedge. And then I ended up with lots of space in the book to add my own, because my papers are thicker than the original papers. We'll have stickers, embellishments, so there's lots to go in the book. What I thought I would do, I prepped some pages because it's a lot of cutting out, and what I'm going to do, in fact, because there'll be so much in this, I will cover half the book in this one, and then on my next post we'll cover another section of the book, because there is so much to be done. So I will do this in a logical order, because I need to put something on the cover. I think I definitely need something for the spine, just to hide that. I do still want it to look like an altered book, so I don't want to cover everything up so you can't tell what it is anymore. And that'll be the same principle inside. I will be leaving some of the pages with writing on. Let me see, like this, for example. I might just put a beautiful die cut over there. So let me just give you an example, because I think I like that, and I like the way it contrasts against the beautiful, you know, bright sparkly papers. So we'll be building up some of those things, and I think if I go through a few pages, I might come back and do a few things. I'll try and make it so that you can see what I'm doing, but I am a kind of random scrapper in as much as I'll go where the feeling takes me. If I get stuck, I'll come back and do things. So I'll come back and do the first few pages, because I really want to add some wow here, and that will require some thought. But I just want to get some of these foundation pages down, so bear with me. What I've done is I've measured my page, so at the moment I'm just covering up a lot of the pages with paper completely. So I've chopped the pages down accordingly. The bits that get left over, now bear in mind I printed mine on A4, so I don't have the luxury at the moment of the 12 by 12, but when those arrive we can insert some of those later in the book. But the bits that were left over then I'm going to be using, so I have a little pile here for example, we'll be using those as flags, so never throw anything away. I am going to use glue and tape to assemble the book. I've never done one of these before, so this might not work as well as I have in my head, but let's hope. I've made lots of mini books, I love mini books. So let's start with an easy page. I've just cut off those pieces, and then facing that, let me just show you. The thing about this book, I was inspired by somebody online. I think they're called Treasured Books. I think she's done lots of videos with altered books, but she makes all these little pockets, which I absolutely love pockets. So they're really simple. I take a page, fold it over, and then when we glue those together, you've got an instant pocket. And then I saved 3 pages here, so I'll either glue these 2 pages together to make it a bit more sturdy, or I could leave those apart. So it is another pocket here as well. So let's have a go. Let's glue these down. I'm going to use my tape run just for a bit of speed. My pages aren't the thickest, so let's hope some tape's coming a little bit unwound. bit away, so I think it's had a little bit of a meltdown. So we're just going to stick this into place to keep it folded over. And then we need to add my pattern paper. As I'm limited on paper, it doesn't reach all the way down. It was just a piece that was left over. But I'm good with that because you won't see much more of that anyway. So I like to conserve paper where I can. Oopsie. So we're just going to line those up. I'm a bit fussy where those go, she says, which I find really difficult to do on camera without getting my head in the way. So let's have another go. Line those up. I'm going to glue this one down to this page. It is a kind of a junk journal style, so I do think it's fine if it's a little bit homespun, shall we say. I'm just going to clip those two together. Now, I think if you fold it flat when you're gluing them, hopefully that will stay in place. And I kind of like it like this, to be fair, but I have cut a piece of scrap which I've got left over. I'm just going to pop that on too. So all the junk journals that I've seen are actually junk and vintage, so I think it'd be nice to have a modern version. I do like a bit of junk and vintage, but equally I think it'd be nice to see something different. So I'll line this one up with the edge. So this is again, it was a piece I've got left over, wasn't quite wide enough, so I've cut myself a border which I've punched. So I'm going to continue doing these, and then we will go through and make up some more pages. So we don't want to go too close to the edge, because I think the closer to the centre here, the thicker and more difficult it is to close the book. So I am going to leave a kind of a bit of a regular gap all the way through. So again, when it shuts, it's nice and easy to close. So now we've got a pocket here. So really, do I want to clip these together? I could remove the page, that's an option. I could clip them together, or I could make another pocket on this side. Let's see if I've got some papers left. So I'm just working on a shoestring at the moment, just while I wait for my clip to arrive. So that's perfect size. So let's do that. Let's trim a piece of this off. Just make sure we go the right way. And if we are doing the same on this side, which I am altering from my original plan, let's just make it kind of 3 inches. My book is about 4.5 inches wide this way and 7.5 this way, so it's a good size book. My friend and I, Julie, who's actually on the team as well, Julie Taylor, we'd gone off on a little weekend break, and we went junk shop hopping whilst we were in a town. I love junk shop hopping because you find so many discarded treasures from other people, but great things for us crafters. Ephemera, we both love the vintage ephemera. So yeah, we had a whale of a time. But we picked up, you know, dozens of books, old maps, music paper. Yeah, it was just so much fun. So So I've made this a different size to the other one, just to make it more interesting. I haven't got a piece there at the moment, but we can come back and we can either leave it as it is, or we can, oopsie, come back and find a piece for it later. So again, I'm just going to put that down. And I'm going to give it a good squash as a go, because what happens is, you can see here, the pages need to move slightly, don't they, as we move backwards and forwards. But that's fine. We can add some ephemera or some paper over that if we have some left. We'll have a think. Let me just do this page. Actually, this one is printed double-sided. I did leave a one of those long bindings there. I'm going to attach it to that binding, and we're going to have this on this side, which I kind of like, but we'll see how that looks when we're done. So I'm going to carefully attach that to there. Now I kind of just want to line it up as best as I can. Again, I'm leaving a few millimetres near the binding just to make sure everything fits in. Now this is where I wish I'd used glue, because it does give you a little bit more flexibility if you're not perfectly straight. That's good. So now on this side we just have that binding, so I can decide, I mean, I could put something over the top of it, I can make a feature of it, but we'll come back and do the decoration. So one more page then while we are going. So again, this is another pocket, so I have 2 pages, and then I have just used my ruler to create an angle, which you can see here. I'll just need to trim this down a little bit, just so as it interferes with the binding there. So let's just get rid of this. And then we can just glue that into place, so that just gives it a little bit more strength, because my papers aren't the thickest. It's as I say, it's a novel, so not the best of quality. I guess when you are looking for books, you know, it's all about the paper, isn't it? The paper and the binding. So, you know, if you're going to make one of these yourself, then you know, be on the lookout for those things. Now this one's a bit, this is exactly the width of the page here, and I think that will be too much because it needs to go inside there. So I'm just going to trim it down, just, you know, a few millimetres off that edge, if I can. Find my little trimmer. This is my big one. So I'm just going to trim a couple of millimetres off. Is that an 1/8 of an inch? I'm not very good at imperial. But we're going to line it to the right hand edge, and then by the time that comes over, you'll not notice that there's a gap here, which is what we want. Let's see how it works with the glue. I think this is what Treasure, I will leave a link to her video or some details. So as I say, she was a lady who inspired me, and has obviously been doing it a very long time, and like me, I tend to make my own mini books, but I have made junk journals and altered books in the past, but not for a very long time. So that's bugged me a little bit because I've just gone a little bit over. So again, we just need to glue those 2 pages together, and that will make a pocket. I think this is a really fun project to do because I don't know if those of you who are doing December daily or make a Christmas album every year, maybe you've got a traditional ring bound album or something. This would be just a bit different. I've got lots of albums that I do. I'm not a December daily person, just because it's too much work for me, but I do like Christmas in general. So I think this would be lovely because it's just different to all my other albums. And I think I'm going to use this principle and make myself a little journal, which is what lots of people do, junk journals, but I think it'd be kind of nice to make myself a modern junk journal, as it were. Right, so again, I've got one of these pages. I'm just gluing the pattern paper together. So the best way, I think, is I'm going to glue my foundation page first. Or shall I glue this one in and then glue this one to the back, I think. So I'm kind of liking the glue because it is a little bit easier than my tape gun for this. So I glue that one in and then line up the other one the same. So my cutting could be more accurate because I can see I'm like a millimetre out. But I've got to remember it's a junk journal and not an album I'm sending to the Queen. So let's try that. And I actually love when the pages are a little bit in, a little bit out sort of thing, because I don't know, I do like things that are a little bit out of line. Now, I could have actually made this into a pocket, but I think I've got lots of pockets already, so because I've glued that, we'll make the next one a pocket. I'm just going to line those up on the left hand side here. So let's have a look so far. So we've got some space then to make our opening pages. We've got a general, you know, just put a photo on kind of page. We've got a pocket here and then a pocket here. Probably need something there. I've just got a kind of a nice page here, so I'd probably leave that as it is, maybe add some more decoration, and then put something on this side. I've got this sort of pocket, and then we've just got a page here, so yeah, it's going well. So I'm going to fast forward because I'll just stop when I do something a bit different. So like these pages, we're doing a bit more detail, but I might just come back and actually just come and decorate some of these pages because it gets a bit boring otherwise just watching construction. So let me have a think about that and I'll be back in a minute. So I thought I'd speed things up a little bit and start with some of the decoration just to keep things interesting. On this page, it's going to be quite a simple decorated page, and I'm going to use some of the beautiful die cuts from the embellishment kit. The flowers are truly gorgeous, and since I made the video, I've now received my actual kit. So I thought, oh well, the die cuts look fabulous when I'd printed them out. The actual die cuts in the kit are even more impressive because they have little tiny bits of silver embellishing on them, so they really are stunning. I just can't get my hat on as to how beautiful they are, so I'm dead chuffed with those. But as I'd already started the decoration with my own printouts, I've just left some of those. I'll still have those to use later in the month. So on this spread then, on the right hand side, I'd made that pocket as I showed you earlier, by folding over the paper and then decorating with pattern paper. So on both sides then, I'm just keeping it simple with a little bit of pattern paper which I've stitched, and then I'm just adding a bit of velvet ribbon from my stash. Now you could leave the pages with the novel showing. I'd really like that because I kind of want to nod to the fact that it is an altered book. But quite a few of the pages I have decorated because I can't resist the papers. They're so beautiful. I've made a tag here, again just a simple tag with pattern paper. Then I'm decorating with the die cuts from, I think those are from the main kit. And in fact, I would have used some of the chipboard stickers to do that decorating once my kit arrives. So I know supply has been a bit of an issue worldwide with American crafts and all the manufacturers really. So it has been a bit of a challenge. I can imagine quite a headache for Kimberly. So I'm just so pleased that the actual kits have arrived now with all the issues that are going on with shipping. And if you haven't received yours yet, just be patient and you won't be disappointed because it is truly a stunning kit. It just seems to get better and better each year. So on this spread, I had created that angled pocket, again just by folding down the base page and then decorating it before gluing it together. And I thought a nice little bit of pom-pom trim would never go amiss on a festive page. And I got that from my stash. I do tend to be a bit of a magpie where trims are concerned. So again, I fussy cut this originally, but you'll see in the close-ups at the end, as my kit had arrived, I just put the actual die cut on top because it was actually the quality was so much better than my printout. Although my printout was pretty good, it didn't have that silver embellishing on there. It's nice to pop things up on foam tape. It does make your book a little bit bulky, but I kind of like a chunky book. So by the time I've got all my photos in and tags, I dare say it's not going to close. That's always the way, isn't it? So I think it's a good idea when you're doing your embellishing just to overlap things. So on the front cover then, I've made an origami star. I got the instructions off a YouTube video. I can leave the link below if you need it. It is a little bit fiddly. I've made lots in the past, actually just as decorations. And I really like the way they look at Christmas with old music paper. So I've embellished that then with some more of the die cuts from the main kit and the embellishment kit there. And I was about to say, actually, it's a good idea to overlap things. So if things are just poking out or... So as I hadn't got the stickers yet, I've used some of the wooden stickers from the October kit just to add the numbers, which I'm really pleased with the front cover. So before decorating the spine, I'm just going to add a little bit of ribbon as a kind of a bookmark, which I think is a really nice, cute touch. And then I'm just decorating the pattern paper for the spine with some of the die cuts, all the stickers. And I'm using a good strong glue just to make sure that sticks to the spine well. Because actually my book cover is a kind of a canvas finish to it, so it's not just paper actually. So for the inside pages, I do like a inside pocket. I always think you collect tickets and memorabilia, you know, if you go out. So I think it's always nice to have some extra space to stash those kind of things in your albums. But before I stick that down, I'm just going to stick on a ribbon closure, as you can see there. And then I've stitched the front cover and the pocket into place. So it's a really simple binding. Again, I've just added that pattern paper to the top and then stitched it into place. So it's just open on the right hand side. And I'm just going to add the ribbon to the back there, just so it all matches up. And then I've just added the same pattern paper then to the back of the book, just to make it look really pretty. You could add another pocket to the back, but I just tend to add them to the front personally. There are so many pockets and pages available in the album, you probably don't need to do all of them, but I just can't resist a pocket. There's just something super cute about pockets, I think. So So I'm just going to glue those numbers back in, just to keep them, because you know the album cover will get moved about, so it's just nice to have a bit of extra security there. So my apologies that things are going around so fast. I really didn't go that fast. I'm going to leave you with the close-ups. I didn't video everything because it was just a case of me decorating, so a lot of it is self-explanatory. One thing I do love is that front cover page, the title page. I use the acetates from the embellishment kit, and I've overlapped them so that you could see they are acetate. And I love the graphic feel that that created. And some of the inside pages, as you can see, are all ready for my photos. So I'm really chuffed with those. And I'll be back later in the month with a flip through and with small pages. And hopefully I've inspired you to maybe create your own album. So be sure to share that with us on our Facebook group. I can't wait to see what you do once you get your kit. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care now. Bye.